The number of the performance report for Title III Part A Immigrant was not available at the time that this presentation was created. However, I'm sure it will have a number by the time it appears in eGrants. The compliance report for Title III Part A Immigrant will have the same functionality at the top of the schedule as the other compliance reports in terms of having access to a printable version, to return to the table of contents, to save the schedule, or to access the instruction document. Part 1 is asking for the LEA to enter expenditure amounts in all of the focus areas related to supplemental activities, language instruction, education programs. Part 2 is asking for the expenditure amounts associated with the focus areas for parent, family, and community outreach. Part 3, Program Implementation, has 2 questions that the LEA is asked to respond to for Title III Part A, Immigrant. The first question, did the LEA maintain control of Title III Part A Immigrant Program funds being used to provide equitable services to private school immigrant students and their teachers? Yes, no, or not applicable. Again, if the LEA said yes, the LEA must list the sources of documentation that are readily available to submit to the agency to document compliance with this requirement. If no, the LEA must explain the reason for the non-compliance, and if NA is selected, the LEA must explain why the requirement is not applicable. The second question among the program implementation questions, did the LEA's Title III Part A immigrant-funded programs provide enhanced instructional opportunities for immigrant children and youth? Yes, no, or not applicable. The LEA is asked to explain the compliance status. If yes is selected, the LEA must list the sources of documentation. If no is selected, the LEA must explain the reason for non-compliance. Or if NA is selected, the LEA must explain why the requirement is not applicable. In Part 4, there is additional space that the LEA may use to provide additional information. This is an optional space. Questions that are related to all of the ESA compliance reports should be sent to esasupport@tea.texas.gov. Any programmatic questions that are outside the scope of the compliance reports will be forwarded to the appropriate program staff for a response.